Who is your favorite Disney character? We're going to start with Piper for this one. Piper, who's your favorite Disney character?
Daisy, easily.
Awesome. And what about you, Ingrid?
My favorite Disney character is Pluto and Sally.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's live episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel and also our good friends over at the WDW magazine, the DCL magazine. If you have not headed over and checked them out, please do. You can head over to DCL-magazine.com and sign up to get the float test issue delivered straight to your inbox, your inbox if you digitally subscribe, or your mailbox if you physically subscribe. But we want to say thank you and appreciation to both My Path Unwinding Travel and DCL Magazine for sponsoring our show. And Sam, I'm going to bring you in now. And hello there to your co-hostess with the mostest. There's Samantha. And we got a fun topic today. You want to intro our guest, Sam?
Yes, I'm super excited to introduce to the show Chris and Erin. They are friends of ours from the Seattle area. We actually met them on board a Disney cruise, and Chris has the distinct honor of being our Lorcana tutor.
That's an honor to be our Lorcana tour. Well, Welcome Lorcana tour, Chris.
Tutor. Not tour, tutor.
I said tutor. You just gotta go. Yeah. Well, welcome, Chris. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you. I did a thing this weekend and won a tournament. So I have a champion mat to go with it.
Holy cow, Chris, congratulations. Oh my goodness.
It wasn't that big a tournament, but it was
so we have like an Olympic athlete tutor for Lorcana. That's what we have.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, Chris actually taught us how to play Lorcana on board a Disney cruise. And then, of course, we have met up with Chris and Erin's daughter, Piper, who also plays Lorcana, a bunch of different card game stores in the area. And so it has been really fun, of course, getting to know their family and playing Lorcana with them. And most of the time getting our butts whooped in Lorcana, especially by Chris in particular. Well, actually, Piper, too. Piper's pretty darn good as well. Yeah. She's gotten she's good for an adult, not just good for like a kid, just to be clear. So we're super excited to have you guys on the show. We're going to talk about your 12-night Mediterranean cruise. But before we dive into talking about that, there's just a bit of cruise news that came out in the past week. So we need to talk about that real quick. So booking is now available for the new Mickey and Minnie Cove cabanas at Castaway, which are the additional cabanas that have been added to the row kind of between the Family Beach and where Serenity Beach start. There's a new row of cabanas there, and apparently booking has opened for them, but not until cruises embarking December 5th or later. So not available for the Destiny maiden voyage, that means, or the Destiny a couple of, initial sailings, but should be available for other sailings that are going to Castaway after December 5th. So pretty cool. Another important piece of news, and this is perfect.
I just want to point out, you started that piece of news with booking is now available, and I have a feeling a number of people were typing into their web browsers to head over to Disney Cruise Line to book sailings. But no, those bookings are not available
yet. Sorry. Yeah, no, we don't have itineraries yet. The other piece of news, this is funny to have Chris on for this, but the other piece of news that we found out this week is that there is a new Lorcana event being held on the Disney Treasure. It is a receive a booster pack and find and trade and complete a card collection quest. I'm not sure what that actually looks like. So, but it's on board the Disney Treasure. We have heard that it was a sort of a testing thing and that they might be releasing it more broadly. It might be an upcoming event on, all of the sailings, or it could just be exclusive to the Disney Treasure. We're not sure, but it just happened, I believe, this past week. So I got to
ask Chris. Yeah, I got to ask Chris how excited you are about this.
Well, I'm very excited. I actually want to book a treasure cruise as a result of that, and I don't want to go to Florida to book a cruise, so it was persuasive. They're giving away, from what I've seen, limited edition Disney Lorcana backpacks, like the sling bags, and it's a thing that they're also launching at the parks at DCA at the end of the month with the new set release, where my understanding is you'll get a pack of cards and then you'll work with other people to trade cards. And then once you accomplish a series of tasks, they give you promo cards. And on the treasure specifically, they're giving like a set of 4 or 5 foil promo cards that I suspect would sell at a premium right now.
Wow.
So they're set. Which set promo cards are they? The new set that's coming out?
So they're not. This is not the new set that's coming out. That's going on the treasure. It's older cards, but it's newer versions of those cards and it's special edition cards. So as people potentially want, like, I don't know how playable the cards are, but if the cards are playable, people will want them in their decks to be particularly fancy, and that those would trade at a premium. The one that they're doing at DCA at the end of the month is going to be a Bell Accomplished Mystic card, and it's a super cool version of that. That is a playable card and is from an old set, but it's getting reprinted and fabled.
You know, before we go on, I got to ask, just because she's here, Erin, are you into Lorcana? Do you play Lorcana? Or are you like, nope, that's for them?
That's for Chris and Piper. And apparently Ingrid has Ingikana, which is her own version of the game, which is basically where just Ingrid wins.
Yeah, it's pretty much how all of her games go. I tried Lorcana a little bit, and the number of sets that come out and new cards, I couldn't keep up. And so I was like, you know what, you guys that'll be your thing. And I will have other things that I do with the kids.
I think her profile would be similar to yours, Sam, where she'd be a very strong limited player. And then just like, I want to come in with new cards that nobody else knows, that nobody knows, and we can just do it. And then I'm going to be done after tonight. And I'll see you again in 3 months. So
people understand what Chris is saying. Sam shows up to tournaments and wins. I play a lot more than Sam and show up to tournaments and get my, BUT handed to me. So like Sam is just like walks in the door and is like, ooh, this card's pretty. I'll play with that. And then wins. So anyway.
It must add like a dynamic of like unexpectedness though. So people don't know what to do with her, which is exciting.
That's I don't know what to do with her and I'm married to her. So there's that. So yeah.
I think the limited tournament play that we're talking about is where you get sort of random cards and you have to make a deck out of the random cards you get. And so everybody's on the same, playing field as far as what cards you get, rather than somebody having to build a deck over the course of months or years. And so for me, that levels the playing field enough that even if all the cards are brand new to me, they're brand new to everybody else. And so I can sort of roll with the punches and just kind of play with the cards that I'm dealt, versus having to have a strategy going in. So I think that's why I do okay in that style of play.
I'm with Chris. I want to get on the treasure so I can get the promo card. So there's that.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling our friend Craig out there might already be booking another ceiling on the treasure just to get the promo cards. So there you go. All right, last piece of
there's rumor that they're going to have tournaments on deck too, and they have it's the one ship that's selling Lorcana live. Like, so they have Lorcana on the boat.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, last piece of Disney Cruise Line news. Did we have one more piece of news?
That was it.
That was it? Oh, that was everything. Oh, okay. We talked before the show. We thought we had 3 news items, but we decided one of them was not news. So we are moving on. All right. Let's talk the Mediterranean. I'm going to bring up fabulous PowerPoint that was prepared here. And so, Sam, you want to dive in?
Yeah. First, let's start, you guys, with why you chose to do the 12-night Mediterranean and what your cruising background is with Disney. Obviously, we know that you have sailed before, but tell our audience where you have sailed before.
So our I'll start with cruising background and then I'll go to the Med Cruise. The cruising background for us together is we did a 7-night Mexico cruise out of San Diego. I think a couple of Thanksgivings ago. It was a very maritime cruise. We had a good time. We met Sam and Brian, and that was a good experience. We booked a placeholder. We burned the placeholder. It just wasn't fitting for us. Separately, without the kids, we once did a Carnival cruise, like a Mexico, like exactly the cruise that you expect. It was cheap and we got what we expected, but we spent some good time with people into Mexico. And we did a repositioning cruise from Seattle, one night from Seattle to Vancouver. For either Princess or Norwegian. I'm not even sure what cruise line it was.
Maybe, yeah.
And then many years ago,
it's a one-night repositioning. Wow.
It was a one-night repositioning because they have to stop, they have to stop at an international port or something, like the rules. And then way back in the day, I had 2 cruises on the Disney Magic. Back when they were first starting out. And the only reason I have 2 cruises is because the first cruise went so poorly, they offered everybody on the ship like a $99 deal to come back for 3 nights again. So I got a second cruise for $100, which was nice. They don't do that anymore, apparently. And then how we ended up on the Mediterranean cruise is we were talking in the spring about we had a hole in our vacation and our summer schedule, and the kids didn't really have camp yet. And then we got an email from Disney that was like, hey, parents, are you looking for something to do this summer? And like, I know I always look at those and I'm like 99% of the time, there's nothing interesting. But this was the 1% of the time where I started looking down and I'm like, there's a 9-night cruise and a 12-night cruise that would work for us. So we started talking and it kind of went from there.
Yeah, I was in on the 9. Like I was like 12 seems like a lot. And then because we took like 2 days to decide, the 9-night deal went away. And we're like, I guess we're doing the 12. So there you go.
I mean, twist my arm. I'll take the other 3 nights. There you go.
I know.
Yeah.
And then Chris was at it. He's like, I mean, if we're going to do it, we might as well just like go all in.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And 12 nights that's a big commitment because you're talking basically 2 weeks when you figure in traveling over to Europe. Let's talk the details, a little bit of traveling. You guys are coming from the Seattle area. Where are you flying through and where are you flying to?
So figuring out flights was a little bit of an adventure, especially traveling with 4 of us, because the flights can get real spendy in a hurry. So we looked at a variety of different options. We ended up going with Condor, which is a European airline. It flies through Frankfurt. Frankfurt's not my favorite airport, but Condor's relatively cheap. We got economy comfort seats, which were nice. We get extra bonus miles and all that jazz. So we booked Condor flights. We flew through Frankfurt to Rome. And then we flew back home from Barcelona through Frankfurt to Seattle. So the flights were pretty easy. It ended up being like, when you add in the time, it ended up being 20 days, which we were a little bit anxious about. But it ended up turning out better than we would have expected.
That's awesome.
So you spent some time on the front and back end of the cruise in Europe. And sorry, I missed it. Where did you fly into for the cruise? Rome. Okay.
And then out of Barcelona.
Out of Barcelona. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So what did you get up to in Rome? I'm curious.
Wait, Brian, we have to get to the slides because it's on the slides.
Oh, it's on the slides. Okay. I will now go back to the slides. There we go. All right. Going back to the slides. Let me see if I can get them to advance.
Make sure that we got there early just because you don't want to miss the ship, right? So like we were like very adamant that we got in a few days early to kind of adjust the jet lag and just in case we had any like flight challenges leading up to the cruise. I think there were a handful of folks that had some weather delays and things like that. People were worried about missing the ship, and that just seemed like stress that we did not want. So
well, and like if you're going to be in Rome. Sorry.
Yeah, when in Rome. Right. I was going to say absolutely, but you also have 2 kids who need to adjust to the time, right? And Piper is 11. Ingrid is how old?
8.
8. Okay. I know Piper's 11 because she's the same age as Nathan. So it's super easy for me to remember that. So they've both got to adjust to the time zone. You guys have to adjust to the time zone. And we're talking about very big difference in time zone because we're all on the Pacific coast. And so we are talking.
Well, and how do they do with the flight over and adjusting to the time zone? Like, what was your experience with that? Did they get on the time zone fairly quickly? Did they get some sleep on the way over?
It was better than I expected. Ingrid generally is pretty adaptable, so she did sleep. Piper less so. But when we landed, it was like kind of early-ish afternoon, and we just made sure that we stayed up. So I think that was kind of the key to getting over that initial jet lag. And then the first couple of nights, we were up a little bit in the middle of the night, but I think we were adjusted pretty much within like 2 days.
I do travel to Europe a fair chunk, so I'm used to it. So Piper really listens to me, and like she won't sleep on the plane because she has a hard time sleeping on the plane. We're both autistic, so like that's just not a thing that's going to happen for her. But she listens to hear you cannot go to sleep, and she was super tired, but she did not go to sleep, and we stayed up. And then we planned something early for the morning after we got in, so we had to get up and go do it, so that we were committed. And it forces you at least a little bit, and then all you have to do is make it most of the way through that day, and you're in pretty decent shape. So that wasn't that bad for us. We also had some experience where the family had traveled to Europe last year too, so that they had at least done it once recently before, and knew kind of what they were getting into.
But gelato.
Gelato, always copious amounts of gelato. Exactly. We actually gave Nathan his first Coca-Cola ever when we went to, we flew to Munich, and we wanted him to stay up that again for the afternoon. And we got in sort of early mid-afternoon. We wanted him to stay up until, 8 or 9 p.m. at least, so we could kind of adjust. And so, we plied him with Coke, and that seemed to work. All right. Well, here we've got some pictures of Rome. Tell us what we are looking at. Sorry that Chris's face is cut off in the
It's the way it should be.
Picture.
Good.
So the first photo is near where we stayed the first night. So the first night we walked around a little bit, got to know the area. It was oppressively hot in Rome, like stupid, wickedly just sap everything out of you hot.
I see the neck fans. I see the
Oh
neck
my God. It was something else. Like
the heat wave, like it was like high 90s the whole time we were
and
there.
humid and stale, and like we book places with air conditioning because Piper, like she will tell you, she does not do well in the heat. So it's just one of those things. And like we had air conditioning in our room, but it wouldn't actually get cold, like at least US style cold. And like nothing is air conditioned there really. So it was a lot. But that was the first picture is Aaron and Ingrid walking around because Ingrid needed to get some wiggles out. The second picture is the Pantheon in Rome, which we went to this last full day that we had there. And then that's Piper at the Vatican Museums. So while we were in Rome, the first day we did the Vatican Museums and we got in early and that was fantastic. We got to see all of the things. We got to sit in the Sistine Chapel for a while, watch a woman faint from the heat and collapse, and then people coming to help her. And then the second day we did the Colosseum in the morning. It wasn't as much fun because it was so sunny and hot. But then after that, we went to the Pantheon when it was a little bit cooler, and that was nice. We also went on a hunt for Lorcana cards and struck out in Rome.
Hunt for Lorcana cards. There's a theme that's going to happen here, folks. There will be more Lorcana talk at the end.
Lorcana on Italiano. Yeah. There you go.
It is a theme of our life.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, here is your embarkation day. I love this photo outside the beautiful Disney Fantasy. Of course, she's over in Europe this summer, and
before we get to boarding, I just want to ask. So the food in Rome. I mean, it's Italian food, so I can't imagine it was like. But did the kids do okay with the food in Rome? Did they enjoy the pastas and the pizzas and the gelato?
Pasta, gelato, yeah, those are like their favorite foods. So I feel like you can't really go wrong with food in Rome. We really found some good places.
They had ice cream or gelato every day of the trip, and they were keeping the streak alive. Like that was a big thing. And the second night, we found like this awesome place that we almost went back to. That was just divine. Like it was just really good. It was not particularly fancy, but the pizza and the pasta were just spectacular. And you can get so much good food there. So they did real well in Italy.
It was like super close to the Trevi Fountain too, which you would think the places that are closer to like the big tourist attractions are like, you know, maybe not as good, touristy, trappy kind of thing. And it was a very small little like hole in the wall place that was playing amazing 90s music. And we just had delicious pizza and pasta.
Nice.
Love that. Well, here's the girls in front of the Disney Fantasy. As we know, the Disney Fantasy is going to be doing her dry dock at the end of the Europe season. So the end of, actually, I believe it's the beginning of October. It was originally supposed to be end of September. So she will be getting a little bit of a facelift. She'll be similar to what was done on the Dream from what we've heard. But here are the girls in front of the ship on Embarkation Day. Tell us, how did Embarkation Day go, getting to the port, check in, all that kind of stuff?
It was pretty smooth. We got a car through our travel agent, and it's a haul. Like that's the one thing to know. You can't take the train there from everything we read, but with 2 kids and a bunch of bags, we just didn't want to have to negotiate that. So we got a car to the port. The trip went quicker than we expected. So we had some waiting outside the port. It was a little bit cooler there because of the water and being outside of the city. But we waited outside for maybe half an hour. Then they put us in a line. It seemed pretty orderly. They collected the bags. We got everything on. We got on. We did our thing. Ingrid got to tell the person what to say for our name. We got on. It was not as magical as the last time we got on a boat because that was a special once in a lifetime kind of thing. But it was good.
Oh, I love that. Now, I gotta ask. You gotta give a little. Who's your travel agent, by the way?
Our travel agent is Sarah from My Path Unwinding Travel. She's amazing. I can't say enough good things about her. She helped us arrange all kinds of things. She helped us with our shore excursions. She helped us with this. I'm wearing my Galactic Star Cruiser shirt. She helped me do that back when it was a thing. I cannot say enough good things about Sarah at My Path Unwinding. Would use her again for just about anything. We're thinking about going to Japan next year for Tokyo Disney. Sarah's already talking to us about that. And the reference to, it was better boarding last time. Last time we were family of the day. So like we had to prepare the kids for it. Like, you will not be family of the day. We are going to come on with other people. You will not be the only people on the ship. You will not have Mickey there. So like that for Ingrid, like that was her one experience with cruising and had to work her through that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when we met you guys on board, and actually, I think we realized that you were family of the day in the boarding area because that was we had been in contact with each other prior to the cruise. In fact, for those who don't know, there's a show in our back catalog that's called "Questions from a Listener in the Back." And that's actually questions that Chris submitted to us in advance of the cruise that they took. This I guess it was a Mexico cruise, Baja cruise, that they took that we met them on. But that episode is all of Chris's questions. Chris wasn't on the show. He didn't want to be on the show at that point. He just wanted to send us questions and have us answer them. And we thought it would make for a great episode. And so that episode is still out there in our back catalog. All right. Well, let's talk we're going to go through
I want to say the Costers family is posting that they also use Sarah from My Path on Winding. So there you go. Sarah's getting double shout outs tonight.
Sarah is phenomenal. Like the one thing, like I got My Path on Winding because of y'all and everything, but like I sent a general email and then like I saw Sarah on the list and like her profile spoke to me and I emailed her and like I like to do things quickly and Sarah was back in touch with me in like 15 minutes and everything has just been like lickety split fast. Like she's been phenomenal and helped us with Oogie Boogie tickets when we were traveling because the Oogie Boogie tickets went on sale while we were gone, so she booked us. Oh, and she's in the chat. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you all so much. Shout out
Sarah
to you, Sarah.
has entered the chat.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Sarah is phenomenal. We had her on to talk about, what was it, Icon of the Seas a while back as well. And she is fantastic. And I would highly recommend, of course, you can, for anyone who is interested in using My Path on Winding Travel, you can just email the general email. But if you, like Chris, want to look at the profiles of the different agents and find one that seems to speak to you and sort of maybe fits your interest or background, or there's something that in their profile that speaks to you, feel free to reach out to one of those individual agents. Just let them know that you heard about them from our show, and they can surely help you. You can certainly select your own agent that way. Otherwise, Karen will just try and match you up with whoever has availability and whoever seems to her to be a good fit. So either way, it is great. Hannah is saying start selling fan tickets, Sarah. Yeah. So love
and
it.
I will just put in the plug if you reach out, DCL Duo at mypathonwinding.com or mypathonwinding.com/DCL Duo. That way they know you came from the show. So yes, there you go.
Now let's we're going to jump into the ports here, and because the ports are obviously a big highlight. You had 7 different ports on this sailing. We're going to go through them rather quickly, but we're going to hit the ports first. Then we're going to talk a little bit of highlights from the actual cruise. And then we'll talk about a little bit about your time in Barcelona, and then special spoiler: we are going to have the girls join us at the end to tell us some of their favorites. Erin, why don't you tell us what you guys got up to in Athens?
And I want to highlight on this. I think pre-show, you told us you booked your shore excursions through the My Path Unwinding shore excursions, not through Disney. And so I'm curious to know what that was like. But yes, let's start with Athens.
Yeah, this was only one of 2 organized tours that we did. And so we just figured it's going to be a short, we only have 1 day in Athens. Absolutely have to see the Acropolis. My older daughter, Piper, is a huge Greek mythology fan. And so we were like, this, you don't want to overplan. So this was the one thing that we had to do. Turns out Ingrid, not as much of a tour fan. So that was a good lesson learned for our first port. And then we adjusted from there. So we went to the Acropolis and then what was the thing down below?
Hephaestus Temple.
Yeah, Hephaestus Temple. But it was only a half-day tour. It was 98 degrees or something. So, and there was no shade up there. So that's why everyone had sun hats, neck fans. You can see Piper's expression on her face. She was excited to be there and hear the stories, but not excited to be in the sun. And Ingrid was just passed out in a rock in this tiny little tree that provided the smallest amount of shade up near the Acropolis.
The reason we went away from the Disney stuff is on our Mexico cruise, we had 3 port days and we booked stuff all 3 port days. And by the middle of the second one was really good. And then we booked that without Disney. That was the one we booked without Disney. We liked that one the best. But even then we were we would rather just stay on the ship or rather do something small. And we got on the 3rd one and we couldn't cancel it in time. And then we were just I would rather not be here right now. I've paid a lot of money to do the ship thing and I want to go out and walk around, but I don't necessarily need a half a day where I ride a bus for an hour and then I do something that's kind of corny for a little bit. And I'm paying for the privilege of doing that too for 4 people. So we decided to scale that back substantially. And then the shore excursions, we looked at the difference between the My Path and Unwinding folks or the My Path and Unwinding affiliated folks and the Disney things. And the My Path and Unwinding was cheaper. It was similar providers. It was return to ship guarantees. It was all of the things. And I had Sarah. And like the combination of those things made that decision pretty easy for us. And all of them worked smoothly. And we were happy with it.
Sarah can probably correct us in the chat, but I believe My Path Unwinding uses shoreexcursions.com.
That's
I
it.
think, yeah. So if you're ever looking for a third-party provider instead of going through Disney, you can head there. You kind of enter your ship, your like embark date. It will pull up your itinerary, and then you can kind of click through and see all the different private excursion offerings. Did they when you book these, Chris? I guess that if they're booking that way, they know when your ship is coming in, so the times are calibrated for that. Did they just meet you on the pier? Like, how did you meet up with them?
It was also super smooth. Instead of going to the Walt Disney Theater, you just go and they give you instructions of meet this person here. And we got private transfers both times, so that like we just meet a person that has my name on it, and we go with them, and they take us places. So that we spent extra on the private transfers for the thing, and that I think that worked out well. We weren't so bold as to like full on, we're going to like book something on our own that's an excursion. We did walk around most of the ports, but the shore excursions thing, it wasn't that much different than a Disney thing. You just met them at a different spot.
How were the crowds? Because I wonder if the private providers are like, well, I know Disney goes here, so we're going to go here. Like, was it still pretty crowded at all the spots?
The Acropolis, dude. It was person to person, like full body contact in tight areas.
I don't think we sent you a photo of this, but there is one where it is just a sea of people. It looks like you are in a stadium, like on the floor, shoulder to shoulder with people. Like it was hard to move. I think one of the cool things about the private transfer was the woman who picked us up actually was like the most amazing guide, but she couldn't actually be a guide because apparently you need to go to school and like get a certification for that in Greece, which we didn't know. And that's why she sort of had to hand us off to this other tour provider who would then take us up through the Acropolis. But the transfer process was super smooth. They came to us basically and met us. And so it was really easy to get paired up with them.
Nice.
There was like 4 Disney cruises though, because they all have like the same name tags and like that you can tell by the like little paddle thing. But there was a lot of cruise ships, I think, in Athens that day, like 4.
Yeah. And one thing that we learned too is the Disney photographers, if you see them while you're on an excursion and you're not on a Disney excursion, they can still take photos of you. So like if you developed any sort of relationship with that photographer at all, they will be happy to take photos of you while you're on your non-Disney excursion.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Because I have heard in Europe and in Alaska are the 2 places where sometimes Disney PhotoPass photographers are actually on the excursions. And so they may take pictures of you while you're on excursion. So that's great to know that even if you're not on a Disney organized excursion, if you see one of them, they'll still take your picture. Love that.
Oh, as a slight spoiler, we took advantage of that.
Yeah, I bet. Well,
I know the number. I'm waiting. I'm just sitting on it until we get toward the end of the show.
We're gonna tell this number at the end of the show, but there is a large number of photos that they got. And we're not talking about photos they took. Some of these are photos they took, but there is a large number of photos that they got. And they got that they paid for that unlimited photo package and they got their money's worth on this 12-night cruise. All right, well, let's talk Santorini. Here we are in Santorini. We can see the funicula you're sitting in, even though I'm sorry, the girls' faces are cut off. There's a picture of the girls in front of the I Love Santorini sign, as well as a waiting picture. That's what you labeled this, Chris. Tell us what you guys got up to in Santorini.
Santorini was all right. We went off the ship. We rode the funicular up. There's a slight charge for that. There's a slight wave for that. They load that sucker full and you go up a real up. And it was interesting. We got there. It's very touristy where we were at. I know some people went on excursions to further away places that I think would have been better. But when you get dropped on the port, it's a tender port. And then you're right in a town that it is a tourist town. And it was fine. We saw some interesting things. It was beautiful, like all kinds of fantastic views, all kinds of amazing pictures. We had some gelato, as one does. And the girls and I came back a little bit early because we were hot and tired and wanted to go back to the ship. And Aaron stayed out and walked around.
Yeah, what we kind of learned is especially in the heat, we do really well if we go out in the morning for a couple hours and then get back into air conditioning sort of the middle of the day. And we can normally pick it up and go back out again at night. I was just man, Santorini is, I've never been here before. I just want to walk around some more. So like I had a great time hopping in all the little shops, but that's not necessarily something that's super fun for the kids and Chris to do. So they took earlier kind of particular down, and then I came back a few hours later. It wasn't too bad.
Awesome. Now, I know you can walk up and down, or you can ride a donkey up or down, but if you're going to walk, you're going to have to avoid donkey poop, is what I've heard. And you may have to wait for a funicular. Did you guys have any issues with getting a funicular or you know?
We were the only ship in port at that point.
That's
so
great.
We did not have to wait long. Like you waited so that they could load it, but we didn't have to wait in a substantial line. In comparison to like the waiting that you can often get, this was not bad. We did hear about the donkey poop. We saw the donkey poop. We saw the steps. It's a lot of steps. It's small steps, but it's a walk.
Yeah, it's so hot, but it stunk. Like the closer you got to the steps, like I don't think I could have been on those steps.
And it was so hot too.
Yeah, in the summer, like walking up even riding the donkey, even if you're not having to dodge the donkey poop, like. Yeah, just in the summer heat with the smell, I'm not sure unless you live on a farm and are used to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not sure you could deal with that. Yeah.
We heard horror stories about people having to wait hours to get back down. Yeah. And so we came back early knowing that. So I think I left Santorini by like 2. I think ship time was like you had to board by 7 or something like that. So we're like, we don't want to push it because that sounds awful. I think my wait was 30 minutes.
So did you spend any like extra time wandering around in Santorini after you got back to the ship, or was it just back on the ship?
No, there's not really like, it's either you go up on the funicular thing and there's a lot to do up there, or there's like maybe 3 stores at like the dock area. Okay. And then you just take sort of the tender boat back and forth.
Is one of them Diamonds International? That's what it was.
We did have a duty-free start, and I did go in there, although it was not nearly the ones at the airport.
Yeah. Brian hasn't been to Santorini, so he doesn't know it. There's really nothing down at the bottom there. It is just the dock, and then you go up the funicular. All right, here you are in, I don't know how to say this, Chania? I don't know how to say it. Chania. Okay.
Chania. No C.
No C. Hania, Sam. Hania.
Oh, okay. Well, there are fish that are eating the skin off of your feet, Aaron, in this picture with Piper on the left. Tell us why did you do this crazy thing to have fish eat the skin off your feet?
Well, one, I think because we'd also been in a few ports by that point, and our feet were just kind of like tired and like getting a little rough. And Ingrid was all in on the fish. Like she saw that in Santorini, and she was like, we have to do that. And we're like, we're not going to do it here, because it turns out everything in Santorini is more expensive. So when we were in Hania, we didn't have like a set thing that we wanted to do. We went and saw the lighthouse, walked around a little bit, and then we were like, okay, well, this is where we'll do the fish thing. We ended up getting some like really reasonably priced wine next door. Like it was kind of like it was still touristy, but not quite to the extreme, because it was actually people lived there. It wasn't just like a place that tourists go. My feet are so ticklish. Like I was losing my crap in this photo where I was giggling, and like it was really hard. Like they go in between your toes. It is a very unique experience that, I encourage everyone to try if you have the opportunity. It is not something that I need to do often.
I like it. We had done it before when we were in Hania. And as soon as I told Ingrid about it, Ingrid was all in. And then we found it. It's called Ariel's Fish Spa. How can you be on a Disney cruise and not go to Ariel's Fish Spa? And then Ingrid and I were selling people as they were coming in, and they were curious. So like 3 other parties came in because of us. Like we were the first ones there. Everybody else was lining up. It was great. And right up the road from this place, there's a supermarket. And that dude was awesome. And he had reasonably priced wine. So like I would not, having done this again, I would not buy my stuff in Santorini. I would wait for a Hania or somewhere else where people actually are, and you can get a much more reasonable deal. Ingrid complimented him. Ingrid got her first free stuff of the cruise. Ingrid got a lot of free stuff on this cruise.
Yeah. She also went to different, she was like Goldilocks. She went into 3 different fish things for her feet, because they have like the big ones and the small ones. And she tried them all. She just bounced around. They were very cool with it.
When in Hania, I guess. Yes. And I see some more gelato being enjoyed here on the right-hand side, continuing the street.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Next, I love this. I will tell you, I cannot, when I have my feet done as, pedicure, the cheese grater thing gets me every time. I'm like so ticklish. And so I don't think I'm ever going to go and have those fish eat the dead skin off my feet. I don't think I could do it.
Your feet will feel better
God,
afterward.
they're so smooth sand though. Like that's the thing. You're like, oh, that was good.
Are you listening to our show because you want to make the most out of your next vacation? Great news, the fabulous team over at My Path Unwinding Travel can help guide you so you don't miss a thing. Their team of professional travel advisors are caring, knowledgeable, and experienced. It's why we use them to book our own travel. My Path Unwinding Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, which means they are recognized by Disney for their expertise and service. They have sailed on all the Disney ships, including in concierge, visited the theme parks, adventured with Disney, relaxed at Aulani, and so much more. Whether it's a Disney cruise, a theme park vacation, or Adventures by Disney, or if you are looking to expand beyond the mouse, My Path Unwinding Travel will elevate your next vacation planning experience. Even if you have already booked, reach out for a complimentary consultation to make your vacation even more magical. Ready to talk to the experts? Head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCL Duo or email dclduo@mypathunwinding.com so they know we sent you their way. Thanks, My Path Unwinding, for sponsoring today's show. Now back to the episode. All right, now we're in Mykonos, and Ingrid's definitely got some attitude in that middle photo there. I love it. So what did you get up to in Mykonos?
So this is where we split. So I get very motion sick. So Chris and Piper did a tour that you had to go in a very tiny little boat to an island.
Sizable.
And I was like, not doing that. So Ingrid and I just took the tender a very short distance into the town. They have these beautiful windmills. This is one of the Disney photographer pictures because they take amazing photos. And so this is her sleigh pose, which she got to be known on the ship for. We saw all these like stray cats just out and around. We had some delicious like baklava. She played and made sandcastles on the beach right in front of this like a little tiny Greek church. Like it was windy, so it wasn't as hot that day in Mykonos. And that was honestly our favorite port because it was just such a nice, relaxing, just kind of like walk around and it was really cool stuff. She also got free stuff. That was a theme. Like the store owner fell in love with her and just gave her things that she wants all of the things in the store, which I think was also probably why she liked that port. But Chris, you and Piper did a tour.
Yeah, we went to the island of Delos, which is big in Greek mythology, and Piper's all big on Greek mythology. She did not love that it was mostly a history tour rather than a mythology tour, but she enjoyed seeing it. Those are some lions that are original. Those are the replicas that they've put out, and they have the originals in the museum. Once we got in the museum was fantastic. If I were to go again and I'd done this tour, I would probably be willing to go and get the boat to Delos myself and then go hiking in Delos, just because I don't think it would be that hard. But I think I would want to do something like this first just to get my bearings. But like, I think if we were to go back on this, Piper and I would go to Delos and Piper and I would explore some of the stuff on Delos solo. And I think that would be more fun. But the first time getting the excursion was the right deal.
Nice.
What free stuff? You got to tell me some of the free stuff that Ingrid got.
Gosh, she got a bar of soap when we were in Hania from one of the store owners. She got a little like owl toy in one of the gift shops in Mykonos.
Cat.
It was a cat.
Yeah. She got a cat with 2 different size eyes, and Piper has different size pupils, so she called it Piper.
Yes. There was something else she got.
She just gets free stuff when she's solo because she's small and she's cute and she's precocious.
She has a lot of energy. She has a lot of enthusiasm for people's stuff. And so I think that they're just like, oh, you're so sweet. Here you go.
Nice. All right. Well, after Mykonos, we are off to Malta. Okay. Yep. And so I know from pre-show, again, you didn't do excursions everywhere you went. So some of these places you just kind of got off and wandered around. Was this one of those ports?
Very much so. And we didn't like it that much. It was not our favorite. It was stupid hot and stupid expensive, and we were ready to be anywhere else. It was pretty. Like, it was one of the prettiest places that we went to. Like, the views that you could get. Like, I highly encourage going out. There's a World War II era war room that I read about afterward that I think would have been cool to go to. But, like, the kids weren't having it that day. Piper was especially not having it. Everybody was suffering from the heat. So we got out, we walked around. We got some gelato that we didn't eat all of. So that tells you how the quality of the gelato. Like, gelato got thrown away by several people. And like it was fine. But I didn't need to go back. But it was really pretty and you could get some great shots. You could see some really cool stuff, but I don't know, maybe we missed it, but that was not my favorite port.
Yeah, the heat kind of is just like an overarching theme that it was very humid in Malta. And so I think that definitely puts a little bit of a damper on things, because even if you have like an umbrella for the shade, you've got the neck fans, you're still just like sweaty and sticky and
Do you think an excursion would have helped, or do you remember what kinds of excursions they were offering?
They had some beach excursions that people enjoyed, but I didn't want to be out on the beach when I'm just like suffering. We would rather be at the pool or in air conditioning. So like there was stuff to do. There's some cool World War II era stuff. There are other historical things that I think would be neat. It just was not the port for us on this cruise. Maybe other people. And if it was like 20 degrees cooler, we could talk about it. But where we had it was not happening.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
And you're pretty far into your cruise at this point as well. And Malta is an island, and it is sort of known for being a beach destination. So that's also one of the things that factors in.
Yeah. The kids call Chris an indoor boy. So I think that, the beaches probably are not the place that you're going to find us.
It's those of us from the Pacific Northwest. We melt, we physically cannot handle heat. So, yeah. All right. Messina, did you just do a wander off the ship, or did you have a shore excursion here?
This was a wander off the ship, but this was probably the best wander off the ship in the whole lot. Messina is fantastic. Like you get dropped kind of, or at least we got dropped kind of in town, and you could walk around, and we actually got to like places where people are, right? Like we're actual, like, and that was neat. I found my card shop. I got some Disney Italian Lorcana cards. There was this cool clock tower that did this amazing, like, clock thing that just kept going and got, like, we just kept
like
thinking
15 minutes.
It was wild.
Yeah. The bronze figures move. It plays this like gorgeous song. There were various different scenes that would kind of
the
go
lion
in, like,
roars
the windows as the lions, roosters would crow. It was quite the experience. I do think it was probably Chris's favorite because he did find Lorcana there, and we like set out on various excursions, like various kind of adventures to go find these card shops. But he went to town. He was like, I will take all of your Italian cards. Like, which ones do you have?
They offered me English cards, and I'm like, why do I need English cards?
Wait, so they have cards where it's in Italian instead of in
local
English?
language. They have local language cards. Yeah.
But we found they don't have very many Spanish cards. That was a disappointment at the end of the trip. But like they have Italian, they have French, they have German, they have English, Chinese, and Japanese.
Yeah, I would absolutely expect Ravensburger to have German. So, yeah. Nice.
That's very cool.
And I love this like post that they had in the middle of town that pointed out where everything was in terms of like your global positioning. And it was just a really cool place to walk around. We got some really good gelato, which always makes it a highlight. And it was just a wonderful place to just like walk around and kind of be and feel like you were in Italy. We also talked to a couple of cast members that we got to know, and they like this port too because they can like go off and they can walk and they can get a really good meal at a reasonable rate. So like of the ports that we really liked, both Hania and Messina were places where like you could get to where people live and get people level prices rather than just like we are going to gouge the crap out of you.
Yeah, for sure.
That was actually a really good tip. One of the people who worked at one of the bars had talked about how if you want really good recommendations, talk to the cast members because they've been to these ports before. I think they kind of like share information about like where is really good to go. And so he said it. He went out and had like a fabulous meal and a beer, and it was like, $10.
Nice.
You can't beat that. And yes, Jeff, the Lorcana cards were in Italian. That's what Chris was saying. You can find them in Italian, you can find them in Spanish, you can find them in German, you can find them, of course, in English, and then Chinese and Japanese, you said, right? So yeah, so you can find other language cards out there. And so that is pretty cool. Okay, your last port of call before, of course, getting back to Barcelona.
Is apparently Tatooine. Although it's called Mallorca.
It's actually Mandalore. That's the Darksaber.
Okay. I was curious because that is not the typical lightsaber that we've seen. So there we go. All right. So did you just stay on the ship? Did you just stay on the ship?
I looked at Palma de Mallorca, and it was our last port. And we looked at the list, and somebody had put it up in the Facebook group that there were like 4 or 5 other ships in port, and it's a beach destination. And I just told Aaron, I'm going to not get off the ship. You can do whatever you want to do. This is where I will be. And I told Ingrid, you want to go to the pool deck when nobody else is there? And like Ingrid and I had the most marvelous morning where we were the only 2 people on the pool deck for like an hour. And then in a spoiler alert for what you might ask me later, right? One of my favorite Disney movies was playing. We got to watch it on Funnel Vision, right? Like it's the one time it played all cruise. Ingrid's in the pool, like by herself, no kids swoop. She could swim. I'm on the pool deck reading my book, just hanging out. Piper comes out. She comes out for our favorite scene. We get to yell out the words, right? Like Aaron comes around. It was one of my favorite mornings, right? Like I thought I liked a sea day, but I kind of like a port day where everybody else goes away and I just get to hang out. It was awesome.
Nice.
I'm going to tell you the best place to do that in like the Caribbean, Bahamas area. This is going to sound totally crazy. Don't get off at Castaway and the entire ship is empty.
Oh, I bet.
And you can have the pool deck to yourself. And there's still, cast members, of course, on board just, so you can get your hamburger or so you can go to Cabanas or Marceline Market.
We do not advocate this for those of you who are going to Castaway for the first time. We have only ever done it. Like there was one time that the weather was not great at Castaway. We just decided to stay on the ship, and a lot of people ended up getting off. And then we've had a couple of cruises back to back that have stopped at like Lookout, Castaway, Lookout, Castaway. And on one of those, I think our Christmas holiday cruise that we did this year,
yes,
we just hung back because it was also kind of cool and windy, and so. But I don't advocate this if it's your first stop at Castaway. Just get off and go.
Yeah, of course. If it's your first time at Castaway, but like if you've been to Castaway a lot of times and you really enjoy an empty pool deck, just like Chris is describing, you're going to get an empty pool deck.
Our first cruise, we felt like we needed to do everything, and we suffered. The quality of the cruise and our attitude toward each other suffered as a result of that. It did not go as well as it could have if we would have just scaled back and like picked this is the thing that we want to do and done that thing and like walked around the other couple, but just like burned a couple hours. But then when we scaled that back, I think that we had a much better trip. If we would have gone on excursions at all these places, we would have been giving a very different trip report. And I think we would, and like, that's knowing your family and what you want out of this too, and where it fits for you. But like, seriously, one of my favorite days was being on the pool deck with Ingrid, just hanging out. And when it's just two of us and the people to bring us things, like it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that there's like, if there's something that you want to do in that city, like I was a big one, like, if I haven't been there, I was like, I want to get off the ship. Like, then I can say I've actually been to the city, right? It's not just like I sat outside the city. Palma de Mallorca, it was like so humid that it was almost like foggy too. So it was one of those things where you like immediately step outside and are just kind of like hit in the face with it. And I was like, well, the cool things to do is this like cathedral thing to go see. And I was like, and I could kind of see that from the ship. So I was like, of all the places, it's our last port day. And, we never really get a chance to explore all of the ships when we've been on them before. And so to have that morning was actually just kind of magical because you get to see the ship when it's not as full as it normally is and do things where there's not a ton of people. Like I think you did trivia with like 4 other people and they were like, wow, this has never been that empty.
And you have a better chance of winning trivia if there's only 4 people doing trivia. Speaking of that, let's move to the next slide, Brian, because there's some great pictures. The next couple of slides are on board stuff that they did. This first picture is kind of epic. On the left-hand side, for those who are not watching the video, there is a picture of Piper and Chris, and they've got Stitch has appeared. It's a magic shot. But right behind Piper and Chris is a helicopter from the Hellenic Air Force. And this happened while you guys were, I believe, at sea one day. There was a medical evacuation that, they sent a bucket down to grab a passenger, pulled him up, and then took him obviously to shore for medical attention. What was like going on deck? Because I'm sure everybody's watching this, but also what kind of communication did you guys get from Disney about what was going on?
There was a ton of notice. We got a notice that we were going to like divert to another area. This was on our second sea day and we were on our way to Athens. And they told us that there'd been something went on. I like to chat up people. So I chatted up some people and like one dude is like, this is only the second time it's ever happened. And like this, that, the other, and finding out some more information. We never found out what actually happened and we didn't try to really check it down, but like we were going to go to one port and get picked up. And then we went on an emergency. Like you could feel the engines like go from like, we're kind of moving along to we are moving now. We ended up getting close to Athens so that they could helicopter the person into Athens. So it must have been something serious. The photographer in this case was a guy that I had developed some back and forth with already and some banter. And he was supposed to be doing Stitch magic shots. And I got up there and like everybody's on the pool deck, like getting around and like watching stuff. And I said, it'd be pretty cool to take a Stitch Magic shot. Who would be better to have a Stitch Magic shot than this? And he was like, no, I don't know if I can do that. And then like 20 minutes later, he's like, all right, let's do it. And he's like, I don't know if they'll make it for you, but we'll see. And then we were in the room one day and they pop it up. But that's when the helicopter's coming to the ship. Then they brought the person on the gurney off. They had all kinds of firefighters around. Like they had, then a person had to go up to go with the person on the gurney to be able to be at the hospital, so that they had a person in their family with them. It was a production, but we didn't lose any time. It was interesting. It was some free entertainment.
The one place that you don't hear about this is we were having brunch in Palo, and we felt the ship pick up and like we were going faster. And when we came back to the room, Piper had been hanging out in the room. And that's when we heard the first announcement. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh, you didn't know? There's a medical evacuation. Like, duh. It played everywhere in the ship, in the rooms and all the things. But I was like, oh, not in Palo, because that was a very protected space where you have no idea if there's stuff like this going on. But they cleared like the front half of the ship, basically, all the pool decks or all the chairs. I think they were thinking maybe the helicopter could land there. There's not enough space. And so, but they have these like, it was like the yellow team or the blue team or something. It was amazing to see everyone just suit up. They knew exactly what they had to do. There were crews everywhere to help them, the medical evacuation. So that, I mean, they also say to stay away from the deck. And then of course everyone was up there because when else you
of course.
So it was a pretty unique experience, I would say.
Well, yeah, we know from talking to Kevin that they don't typically land on the ships. Disney doesn't actually have a helipad where they can land, and it's more dangerous. We learned. Sorry, for those who don't know, Kevin is Coast Guard rescue swimmer, and we did a show with him a few months back, or maybe even a year back now, talking about his experience as a rescue swimmer. He was saying that it's actually less dangerous if they hoist up and down rather than trying to land on the deck of the moving ship. So
that makes sense.
So
maybe more wind then, because I do think that they probably could have blown some stuff around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the wind. They get winds from below and from above, and it can be those drafts of winds can really make it super dangerous. Well, let's move on to this trivia picture in the middle. So is this the day from? Is this from the? No, this is a different.
Piper and I smoked about 20 people in Star Wars trivia. So we did Star Wars trivia, and so Jared from South Africa took the first picture. This is Lily from Entertainment. She was phenomenal. I didn't get to see her as much as I would have liked, but everything I went to that she ran was fantastic. Ingrid, Piper was pissed. If you asked her about it, you'll trigger her. But Ingrid went around with her medal on, and Lily was going to give her a medal anyway because Ingrid is Ingrid, and she gets free things. But Piper would they would ask Ingrid, "What did you win your medal for?" And Piper's like, "She didn't win a medal. She didn't help at all."
She's part of the team that won, so she gets a medal.
She was coloring Stitch while Piper and I were answering questions.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think this was on the Santorini day though, because you guys were doing trivia and I came in late to it, so I rolled in with 2 questions left and also got a medal. Right time.
I love it. Now, is this picture from a drink tasting, or is this picture from the oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of the bar?
Skyline.
Skyline. Thank you.
Well, it's a drink tasting in Skyline. So
yeah,
that is accurate. Yeah.
Well done. You know your drink tastings.
Yeah.
I have a tiny glass, and I recognize the background. So there you go. Just call me Sherlock Holmes. There you go.
Yeah, I think this was a tequila tasting that we did. And then this was a beet tequila, or a beet kind of mixed drink, beet margarita. Something. I don't know. But it looked like delicious. Blood, and I thought it was funny. And so I was get this photo of me looking like I'm drinking a glass full of blood. That was really good. Yeah.
We did a handful of drink tastings. The best one was the rum and mojito tasting that we did up on the floor where they have Edge. And we were the only people there. So it was the 2 of us and somebody else, or somebody the person
doing the tour. It was it was actually kind of odd to be the only 2 people at this, table in the center of a room with no one else around. But then you had these windows that you could see out the, great views from around the ship and very personalized attention, I guess.
All right. Well, I see Piper enjoying Sam's favorite, the black truffle persets.
Oh yeah, truffle persets, absolutely. Yeah,
so
love that.
She hates mushrooms. She will never eat mushrooms. And then I told her that we finally got her. This was a wonderful chance to get her to try some adult food. She started out on the kids menu, but we got to the point of you can order it, you don't have to eat it, but you have to try it. So we got to the habit of every night she would order something off the adult menu, and she would decide whether or not she liked it, and she could either pass on it or try have some more of it. And she only got the black truffle persets because I told them they were Sam's favorites, and because of the Lorcana and all the time she spent with you, she's like, I will try it. And she didn't know what a truffle was. And then after she ate all of them, and she's like, that was so good. I'm like, do you know what truffle's a mushroom? And she's like, I'm like, you like mushrooms? And she has some thoughtful feelings about that. And I believe that's actually the porcini one rather than the truffle one.
Oh, the porcini sachets. Yes.
Yeah. So the next to last night, we had a couple of our favorite dishes. Piper got those. And then I got I'm a vegetarian, and I got a tofu that was like sesame crusted that was fantastic. And we talked to our server, and we asked if we could get him the next night. And so she brought Piper 2 the next night, and she brought me my tofu, and it was great.
Nice.
I love that. And now Ingrid is here in the middle doing her sleigh pose with one of the photographers on board. Is this the photographer that you were talking about a different photographer on deck, but I'm guessing that she made friends with like all the photographers on board.
Yes. This is Lucia, and Lucia's from Brazil, and Lucia gave them award as the best models on the ship. So this was after she gave them the award as the best models on the ship. And Lucia was big into sleigh pose, and she would ask Ingrid to do sleigh pose. And then I asked if Lucia would do sleigh pose with Ingrid. So they did sleigh pose together.
I love that. Now, I feel like this is the time where you've got to tell us what was the total, because we're talking about photos, what was the total number of photos you all took on this 12-night cruise?
Before he says this, though, the reason we know so many of the photographers is because Chris is like, we got this photo package. We have to get value. So we took so many photos every day that the photographers then knew us because we showed up to so many of the things. And so I think that's why a lot of our trip was influenced by like, oh, there's that photographer that we know out in this port, which maybe you wouldn't catch otherwise. But because we grew to, build relationships with these people, like that's kind of how the photographers all kind of came together.
So I love character encounters just in general. I think the characters are fantastic. And I think you got a photo that I'll save the story for that. But so like we go to the character stuff, and then we kind of created a loop at dinner where we would take all of the photos at dinner, and then you just kind of get to know everybody. And then like we get to walk around. We get to walk around after dinner. We like to take a little loop after dinner. There's some more pictures you can take. You can just do that here and there. So we got to know the photographers. And I had known from way back in the day that you had several hundred pictures as a most that somebody's got on a photo pass. And then partway through the cruise, I text you and I'm like, so what's the number? And Piper and I, as I mentioned before, are autistic and we like goals. And then when you told us a number, we were like, okay, we could beat that. Plus we've got Ingrid, and Ingrid will always take a photo. Ingrid is down for a photo whenever, wherever. Plus Erin never gets to be in the photos. So it was good. So the final number, we had a bad last day. We only got like 10 on the last day, but we ended up with 1,061 photos on our photo pass.
Oh my God.
That may be a new winning total.
That is a new record. I think the record that had been set by our friends Willie and Rebecca was like over 800 photos. I don't remember the exact number, but I believe it was over 8. But I will say it was not on a 12-night cruise. It was on like a 7-night or maybe a 9-night or something.
Step it up if we need to. Next time.
We're not doing a per night record. We're just doing a total record. So you guys now hold the record, at least on our podcast, for how many photos a guest has taken on board. Of course, we've got a pirate night photo here. Did they do fireworks? I know they did pirate night, but I don't know if they did fireworks.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
You can't do fireworks on like the European cruises. And maybe it was just the area that we were in, but fireworks were not allowed very explicitly.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you love character meets. Here we've got a couple of pictures of meeting Daisy. I love that Daisy's in 2 different outfits. That's one thing to note about particularly longer cruises.
I don't think I've ever seen her in this princess outfit before.
I don't think I've seen that outfit either. I want to say that there are some unique outfits that you might get on European cruises that you
longer cruises too.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm sorry, on longer cruises that you don't get, as well as group photos, which we have one at the end. But let's jump to Barcelona, because I know we have the next couple of slides of Barcelona before, because we're running out of time here to get the girls. We want to get the girls on and ask them their favorites. Here we have, this is you went to a Lorcana, not just shop, but actually like a play meet up. Yeah.
Before we went, I emailed some stores and I found this one store and they were fantastic. It's one of the best league nights I've been to. They were so welcoming. They played in English for us. They all spoke great. there was a guy there. He and his wife were playing, and they're about to have a kid. And he was like, "How do I get my kid to do this? How do I grow them into this? It's my goal." So they were all awesome. To Piper, we had a super blast. And the cards on the right, Daisy signed them. The Daisy in the pictures before. I like character meet and greets. The Daisy on that ship, or the Daisies on that ship, the friends of Daisy, we wrote a special note for them. They were phenomenal. Perhaps the best character I have ever encountered. It was fantastic. The characters were all good. That Daisy was special.
And she signed the cards. That's amazing.
She signed the cards, and she signed them love too. So like, we got some extra time. We got to bring one home back to a friend. Like, it was great. She took the extra time. It was great. And like, on the rest of the cruise, she would look at us and she'd just be like, such good communication.
She'd see you and she'd send you love messages.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was great.
Awesome. I love that. All right. We've got a couple more. Hi, girls. We got a couple more slides. Dad's going to just go through these last 2 slides with us as you guys sit and wait, and then we're going to ask you your favorites. So here you are in Barcelona, going to see all the Gaudi stuff, basically, right?
Yeah. There's a house on the street that we were staying in that has these chains at the end. There was an installation that's not Gaudi, but feels it in a particular sort of way. There was an interactive art thing that Ingrid loved afterward. We stayed a couple times. And the last picture is La Sagrada Familia. Aaron likes the Gaudi stuff. So we did Park Güell. We did all the other things. And it was a really great experience to see all of it. And you can see she likes pictures.
Oh, wait, one more, Brian.
I know. I went back. I went too far. There we go. All right.
So the first one is a Catalan Music Museum, which we had time before we could get into our hotel. So if you do have time to kill in Barcelona, that was a fantastic place to go. It was air conditioned. It was cool. It was gorgeous. And there was a guy playing this 3600 pipe organ, and we could listen to him just do his thing. So we could just sit down in the cool, listen to this guy play this pipe organ while we needed to kill time anyway. It was phenomenal. The 2 on the right are Park Güell, which was beautiful, and we had a good time. And then I like obelisks. And like, I got to tell Piper, the one thing that will make her smile is when you say l'obélisque, because that's obelisk in French. And for whatever reason, I like to find obelisks, and it makes Piper laugh. So that's good.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Now we're going, as we see, there's a couple of character photos. Well, there's a magic shot here that's a special Avengers one for the new movie. And then, of course, we got this picture on the right, which is you guys with all of the Fab Five, plus Daisy, plus Chip and Dale. This is one of those iconic things that they tend to do on these longer sailings, which is you can get a family photo with all of these characters. Here it's, 8 of the 8 characters all at once. So fantastic. Let's jump in and talk about favorites with the kids at this point. And I'm going to ask you guys, it's going to be a shortened rapid fire since we're live, but I got to start with, who is your favorite Disney character? We're going to start with Piper for this one. Piper, who's your favorite Disney character?
Daisy, easily.
Awesome. And what about you, Ingrid?
My favorite Disney character is Pluto and Sully.
Oh, Pluto and Sully. I
nice.
love it. All right, Chris, who's yours?
Tech from Star Wars or Rhino from Bolt.
Oh, love those. Those are great. What about you, Erin? Who's your favorite character?
I like Goofy a lot. I also do like Pluto too. This Pluto had a lot of energy too. He would jump very high and have kind of jumping contests with the girls.
I love it. All right, favorite movie. We're gonna start with Ingrid for this one. Ingrid, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Does Hocus Pocus count?
Yes.
Sure, counts.
Hocus
I love it.
Pocus and Zombies for the one of the vampires.
Oh, love that. Awesome.
Yeah,
Everybody loves those zombies movies.
a lot.
Yeah. All right. Piper, what's your favorite movie? I think yours is the same as Dad's. Am I right?
No, I love
No.
Wall.
Oh, you love
Wall
Wall-E.
is one of my favorites.
She started watching Wall-E on the cruise, and she loves it.
Wall-E is great. Wally's
That's such a great
movie.
one. Chris, which is your favorite one that you watched on Funnel Vision?
Bolt with the 1/16th wolf. It's so good. Heart Wolverine.
So good. That is really good. Erin, what about you? What's your favorite Disney movie?
I'm repping my power line on this call. So,
Yes, the Goofy movie.
Yes, all the way back to the 90s. That is my absolute favorite.
Love
Nice.
it. Okay, we're gonna do favorite Disney song, and then we're gonna jump to some favorites about this cruise in particular. We're gonna start with Erin since she's gone last twice. So, what's your favorite Disney song, Erin?
Favorite is Surface Pressure from Encanto.
Yes, absolutely. All right, that's the right answer. Chris, what is your favorite Disney song?
I like It's Wondrous from the fireworks at Disneyland.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, Ingrid, what's your favorite Disney song?
My favorite Disney song is Don't Mess With Us from Zombies for Dawn of the Vampires. This is what it sounds like.
Nope.
Oh, that's not Disney.
That is Disney.
That's Disney.
That's
Disney. Good job. Excellent. Excellent work. All right. Piper, what is your favorite Disney song?
Is that from K-pop?
Yes, it is. Okay. I don't really like Disney songs besides like the Descendants and Zombies.
The DCOM Descendants and Zombies soundtracks get played a lot in our house.
All right. Well, that's fair. Okay. We're going to jump on board this cruise, and I want to know what your favorite port was. Okay. So we'll start with Chris this time. Chris, what was your favorite port?
I think either Messina or Mykonos.
All right. Erin, what was your favorite port?
I would say Mykonos. Mykonos.
All
is
right. Piper, what was your favorite port?
Mykonos, but especially going to Delos. And you forgot to mention it was Delos, not just a random island in Mykonos.
Yes. He did cover that. Don't worry. All right.
Oh, she was watching. She needed the island named.
Oh, the island name. Gotcha. Okay. Ingrid, what was your favorite port?
I liked Mykonos and Hanya.
Oh, yeah. You liked having those fish eat the skin off your feet, huh?
Oh, heck yeah.
I did.
Heck yeah.
I love it.
I don't know if that counts because like where you get off, but that was like by far my favorite city of the trip.
Oh, awesome. All right. I got to ask what your favorite food was to eat, let's say on the ship, okay? So, Erin, what was your favorite food on the ship?
I don't think you could go wrong with the Mickey churro waffles. Like those are kind of iconic.
Solid choice. Solid choice.
They are excellent. All right, Ingrid, what was your favorite food?
My favorite food was the fried rice.
The
Fried rice.
That's a lot.
She had fried rice every breakfast.
At
Oh,
Cabana.
nice.
wow, I love that. I always forget that's there in Cabanas. Great choice. Love that. All right, Chris, what was your favorite food on the cruise?
I think the salmon, the sesame crusted tofu that I had was so good.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, Piper, tell me what your favorite food was on the cruise.
It was that like truffle thing or the lemon pound cake in Cabanas.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
See, she just went with both of us. She went with both of us.
You just scored
You got your
points.
truffles. I got my lemon. Fantastic choices, Piper.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Okay, now my last question is just going to be your favorite ship. You were just on the Fantasy. You have been on the Magic before. Tell me which ship do you like better, the Fantasy or the Magic? We're going to start with youngest. We're going to go by age order. Ingrid.
So my favorite one was the Fantasy.
The Fantasy. All right, Piper, what's your favorite?
It's got to be the Magic for me.
All right, classic. All right, Erin
I think Magic. Yeah.
and Chris.
Can't go wrong on a Disney cruise, but I'd say Magic too.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
Well, you all have won rapid fire today. Congratulations. You all get medals. And you can all claim that you contributed to getting those medals. So congratulations. Just Mickey medals.
Like the winner medal.
Just like
Imaginary
your
medal.
Oh.
the ones you have. We don't have
Oh.
Yeah, Sam, you're making promises that we can't keep here. So thank you for that. Well, as we wrap up here, I just want to first thank, Chris, Erin, Ingrid, Piper. Thank you for spending some time with us this evening. We really appreciate you taking the time out to share your cruise experience with all of those folks out there watching and those folks who will listen later. So thank you so much to each of you.
We have some really important information to tell our listeners and people who are watching live, which is that we will be back on tomorrow night. We will be live with Danny Schuster from WDW Magazine and DCL Magazine. He got to go in Toronto to see the cast of Hercules, the first cast of Hercules on the Disney Destiny, do some rehearsals and do a little bit of a demo for
He even got to play with the puppets. So yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be on our show tomorrow night live. We're going to be on at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, talking all about that experience, what he got to see, and why he thinks that the Disney's Hercules the musical is going to be perhaps the best stage show on Disney Cruise Line. We will also be back next week, our normal time. That is Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Doug Parker from Cruise News.
Cruise News Today.
He does YouTube videos every single day about what's going on in the cruising world. He sails on lots of different cruise lines. He has sailed on Disney before. And we're going to talk about what's going on in the cruise industry as a whole and where he thinks Disney is positioned with all of these new ships coming out. So please join us on both of those shows. Thank you all for watching.
Actually, Sam, we can't talk about the topic yet, but I do want to go ahead and have people mark their calendars because we will also be back on, what is August 16th, Sam? I don't even know what day of the week that is. Or August 15th. Is that Monday? No, August 15th.
August is a Friday. August 15th is a Friday.
August 15th. August 15th, next week, mark your calendars for another live episode with the DCL Duo, special live episode. We cannot talk about what it is about yet, but mark your calendars because we will be live with a very special episode and a very fun guest. So, all right, with that, I just want to say thank you again to the Paul family for joining us. It has been fabulous having you on. And to everyone out there watching, listening later, thank you so much. And we will see you next time.
See you tomorrow.
Well, thanks to everyone out there for listening this week. We really, really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you can keep getting great content from us every week. In fact, twice a week we publish shows. So be sure to hit the subscribe button to get all of those great episodes. And if you want to watch us live, we have a live show now every week, Monday nights, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern over on youtube.com/DCL Duo. So be sure to head over and check that out. If you want to help support the show, be sure to hit those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you leave us a written review, a 5-star written review, we will read it at the top of one of our main episodes. So please head over there and hit those 5 stars. Of course, you can also help support the show by supporting our fabulous show sponsor, My Path Unwinding Travel. If you want to book your next Disney vacation, head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCL Duo or email them at dclduo@mypathunwinding.com so they know we sent you their way. If you've got questions or you'd like to connect with us, the best way to do that is to head over to dclduo.com. It's got links to all of our things, full catalog of the podcast episodes, including a searchable catalog for the podcast, links off to our vlog, a link to our Etsy store where we sell some fun fan-inspired magnets, link to our Patreon if you'd like to help directly support the show each and every month. Just head over to the website or patreon.com/DCL Duo. Also has a way for you to sign up for our Substack newsletter that we're hoping to start really pumping out monthly here at least, and a few blog articles that we've written. So DCLDuo.com is the best way to connect with us. You can also, of course, email us at info@DCLDuo.com or reach out to us on our voicemail line at 402-413-5590. That's 402-413-5590. The DCL Duo podcast is not affiliated with Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Company, or the Disney family of theme parks. The views expressed on the show are solely those of the individuals on the podcast and in no way reflect the views of the Disney Company or Disney Cruise Line. If you have questions about a Disney cruise or a Disney vacation, please contact the great folks over at My Path Unwinding Travel or Disney directly or your own travel agent. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time for another fabulous adventure with the DCL Duo. Good night.